I'm here with the new president of Feed the Children, the new president and CEO, J.C. Watts, a familiar name to Oklahomans everywhere, and we're here to talk about the organization's plans and good works ahead. So, sir, let me just ask, you started, yesterday was your first official day?
Yesterday was first day of class.
And what did you do yesterday?
Well, met with a lot of the department heads and kind of went through the building saying hello, had a town meeting with the employees first thing yesterday morning, met with the executive team, and then met with the departments individually. And last night at about 6 o'clock, I got my bag and headed to the Thunder game.
Did you enjoy the Thunder game?
Well, I left at about halftime because all the meetings and all the dialogue that I had throughout the day. I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, and I was telling the employees at the town meeting, I said, I guess I was nervous about my first day at school. So at about halftime, I trusted the Thunder had it in hand, and I called it a day.
Now, how much sleep did you get on Sunday night?
Well, when you cobbled 30 minutes here and 45 minutes there, it probably added up to about 3 hours, and I can operate on about 5.5 or 6, and so I was.
Come on, you've gone to, played in the Grey Cup, you played in the Orange Bowl, and you were nervous. Were you nervous for those things too?
Well, I think I had obviously done a lot of diligence on Feed the Children over the last 6 months. They reached out to me, or an executive search firm, Carter Baldwin, reached out to me about 6 months ago, last August, and so we kind of started the dance and the courtship, and so I kind of felt like I knew what to expect.
Now, you live in Oklahoma. Do you have a home here in Oklahoma?
Yes, my residence is Oklahoma, actually Eufaula. I've got a place over there, a little cattle ranch over there, and we bought a place when our fourth child was. I had about 2 years left at the University of Oklahoma. We bought a place in Norman, so prior to Feed the Children, I was home probably an average of 3 or 4 days a month. And
so you got a place in Norman to stay?
Yes, I do. I've got a place in Norman.
And you got a place in Virginia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, how much are you going to be here now?
Well, as much as I need to be, Nolan, but I think when I said to the board and to those that we've discussed how it all works over the last 6 months, I think Feed the Children is in Oklahoma. Obviously, they are a national and an international organization. If I'm in the office 40 hours a week, I'm probably not doing the job they've asked me to do. And, I want to use the opportunities that I'm preaching around the country. I'm doing current affairs speeches around the country. I'm doing board meetings that I'm associated with. I'm in Washington talking to the different organizations there. When you look at the National Grocers Association, or you look at Walmart or Kraft, the type of people that we call on to contribute product to us, I want to use every opportunity that's presented to me under those circumstances to kind of expose Feed the Children to my network. And so I'll be in and out of Oklahoma City a little more often, but for the most part, my work is around the country, going where the product is, going where the corporations are, going where the volunteers are, kind of introducing them and exposing them to who we are and what we do. And I'm just pretty excited that Oklahoma City, that the state of Oklahoma has a nonprofit organization that is at the tip of the spear in making sure that no child goes to bed hungry at night.
So you're going to hit the streets?
I'm going to hit the streets. I thought I had kind of gotten over that over the last 6 or 7 years. When I left Congress, I was probably doing 25 speeches a year.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, I was preaching 10 or 12 times a year around the country somewhere. And over the last 4 or 5 years, I've backed off of that and kind of focused more on strategy and within the companies that I've been involved with, and kind of backed off some of the corporate boards that I was doing. But this gives me an opportunity with Feed the Children, gives me an opportunity to take what I've learned over the last 35 years and the foundation that I got in Eufaula, Oklahoma about, you know, helping your neighbor. It gives me a platform to actually take all of that and bundle it and put it under one umbrella, if you will, one roof. So while I will hit the streets, and it'll probably require obviously a little more traveling.
Have you ever donated to Feed the Children yourself?
I have given to them in the past, and I think, Nolan, I think that's one of my challenges, and I think the organization's challenge as we go forward is to, I think, show people that, you know, for whatever reason people give philanthropically because of their faith, you know, whatever reason people are driven to give, we want people to know that we're good fertile soil that they can sow into, and we want to continue kind of telling our story and creating a broader platform, if you will, to tell that story, and again, let people know we're fertile soil, and we would love to have them join us in our effort to make sure that no child goes to bed hungry at night.
Now, we're not going to dwell on the past, but there's been a bunch of leadership changes and somewhat turmoil, and there was a takeover attempt even, and which was. Have you helped to stabilize the situation there too, or?
Well, obviously you couldn't talk about Feed the Children and not be aware of that, and especially someone in our position. I honestly do not know a whole lot about that, and I've not focused on that. I think with the new leadership, it's my responsibility to set a new pace, to help, you know, my chief of staff in Washington. You know, when you be on the streets of Washington, you saw a lot of homelessness.
Yeah.
And I, good, bad, or indifferent, I am a glutton. Every time I'd see that someone would ask me for a contribution or ask me for money, I'd give them $1, reach in my pocket and give them some change. And my chief of staff, she was the same way. And she got to the point that she would say, "Don't make eye contact, don't make eye contact." And you know, when you think about poverty, when you think about injustice, I think there's a story in what she would say that concerning poverty, injustice, different things in society that we say, don't make eye contact. I think it's a part of my mission going forward to bring people face to face with poverty, and saying that because we don't make eye contact doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And so I'm pointed toward the future. I think to your question about, you know, things that's happened in the past, I've peeled the onion on Feed the Children over the last 6 months to know that they're sound operationally. And as long as they were sound operationally, I thought we had a real good chance of doing some really good things with all the services that they provide. I want to see us, international and domestic is important to us. I think we've got a challenge of telling the story better on what we do domestically. People think that we're just in international.
Yes, sir.
Feed the Children.
They do.
And we have a lot of domestic programs, after-school programs, nutrition programs.
So if I understand, your goals are kind of threefold. One is to raise funds.
Right.
2 is to raise awareness of the problem, and 3 is to raise awareness of what Feed the Children is already doing to address the problem, particularly domestically, which it seems to be people don't realize.
I think that's fair, and then when you talk about raising funds, I think that would include raising funds and it would include the cash
Good.
part,
The
but
goods.
also the gifts in
The
kind.
goods,
Right,
yeah, sure.
Exactly. And so, and then I too, I think, to do, and this is no judgment on anybody, but I think to do a better job of, I think, communicating, even with Oklahomans, of what we do and who we are and how we do it. I'm not so sure Oklahoma understands, the significance of what we have here in the state of Oklahoma. And I think when you combine all of that, and my background over the last 35, 40 years, or at least in my adult life, a lot of my service life has been in those areas. And so yeah, make people more aware, the fundraising, gifts in kind, and continue building on what's been established over the last 35 plus years.
Now you have you sign a contract. Do you is it a contract that's a certain amount of time, or is it? The last guy signed a 3-year contract.
It's a 3-year contract. Yes, it is. It's the same number of years.
But are you just in it for 3 years, or do you know?
Well, that's the number the board picked, actually. Maybe I should ask them that question. Are you guys, do I have a 3-year leash here? No, I hope. The bottom line is, I think Feed the Children has a good enough foundation that they're going to be around regardless of who sits in that president's chair. I think once people, if people were to peel the onion on us, on the organization, they would see that there's a lot of there. It's surely the type of organization that gives me a chance to apply what I learned growing up in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and what I learned dealing with poverty from a legislative perspective.
Do you think I didn't ask that you would like to add?
How about those Sooners, man?
Yes, sir. All right, thank you, sir.
Nolan, thank you.